Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do or try to do a all one brand makeup tutorial which will be ColourPop. Now there are a few products that I don't have like bronzing or contour shades in ColourPop, so I will be using other things for that, but I will list it below to let you know which ColourPop products I am using exactly. So and you will find that I will stop and start just to try and make this a little bit shorter because my editing is crap and my editing program is not the best, so I haven't got that down pat, so I will be stopping and starting just to let it be a little bit shorter than say an hour. No, seriously, no, sometimes it can take me an hour to do my makeup, so I will try and be as quick as possible. Now I'll just say first off, if you hear any noises in the background or the dogs barking, it's because there are workers outside doing work and my dogs will constantly bark in the backyard because they can hear people over the fence but they can't see them. So I suppose even if they could see them, they'd probably still bark. But anyway, I will be using first off the ColourPop No Filter Foundation, and I haven't used this in a while. I'm just shaking it. I haven't used it in a while. By the way, I have applied my brows already with a different product because I do not have a ColourPop brow product. There's nothing there. It's just lip gloss that is kind of looking a little strange. I have already put moisturizer and a primer down. I'll just pop some of this on the back of my hand. Now, I like to go light with my foundation, so let's get into it. When I say light, I like to go light-handed, not light as in too light for my skin. Of the No Filter Concealer, the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. I just put little dots. And then I don't have an eye primer, so I will pop this on my eyelids as well. I don't have dark circles under my eyes, so I don't need to colour correct or anything like that. I have got Pinky Paradise lenses in today, so I'll leave the colour down below. It's just given me a little bit, made my blue eyes look a little more champagne-y. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm using the ColourPop No Filter Setting Powder. I'll just grab a little eyeshadow brush first off, just to do under my eyes, and then a bigger brush to do the rest of my face. I don't like to use too much powder. I don't bake under my eyes because it'll just look creased and like crepe paper, and that's not the look I'm going for. And yes, please subscribe to my channel, like this video. I hope you've got a cup of coffee. I've got one beside me because you may need it. Okay, now I'll just grab another brush. Tap that off. don't like to use too much powder, just like to set my face. I just set the areas that are a little more oily, or where I find that the makeup moves around a little bit more during the day. Like my chin and here and right between them. Now the contour, I'll just pop the lid on there because no doubt I will spill that and it will go everywhere. So for contouring, a lot of people will contour or say they're contouring and they are using a warm shade. I don't do this because contouring is it's a cool tone shade. So I've already got high cheekbones. I get that from my grandmother. So I'm kind of thankful for that. I do like to use a brush like this to get a distinct line, and then I will blend it out, but I will go from here and you can see the ashy tone there, and I'll blend it up. A bit on this side. Actually, after using that just then, the foundation, I actually like the finish of it. I didn't like it for some reason when I first got it. I don't know whether it's because I'm using a primer that I haven't used with it before. I'm using the Smashbox primer. I also do a line here, like a shadow under here, just to sharpen up my jawline, because as we get older things drop a little bit and my face shape, I don't even really know what you would call my face shape. It only needs a little bit. So that ashy tone there looks quite harsh, but it's not when I'm looking in the mirror. Now, I contour my nose, and I'll tell you, I do not contour it to change the shape of it, because it is already, as you can see, a very narrow nose. But this section of my face with the foundation looks very flat in colour, like very just, I don't know, just with all the foundation, it just looks white there. So I grab that and I just go down the side, and this is, and I will do it with a warmer shade as well over the top, but this is just to give dimension back to the face, a little more 3D. The way a face is 3D, but by putting down a base of foundation, it takes away sometimes that. So can you see any difference there, the way I've just added a little bit of colour just to give that dimension back. So I'll close that one off. Now that was the Faux Allure Sculpt and Glow. They're really good. I like those because it's got a very, very good cool tone. I think there's a couple of shades, because I've got another shade as well that's slightly different to this, but that's good. And then it's got a highlighter down the bottom, but that one's white. The other one's a champagne. Now I'm just going to quickly bronze up my face with the Morphe Bronzer. This one. Actually, it's probably better for me to look here, because I can see better, because this room is, I mean, I've got the ring light, but I've got natural light behind it. Now I go around here, because I have a big forehead. Just around the hairline. I don't go too crazy. I don't want it looking muddy. So I'm going to try and blend that out as best as I can. And I have no idea what eye look I'm doing. I'm going to just wing it and see where it takes me, but I do like my warm tones. So I'm just going to go over that cool tone a little bit just here, because I'll leave this area here for blush. There, I think that's just underneath there a little bit because of that little tiny double chin I have there. Using this one, which looks pinker on here, which it's more apricot, and this one which is more of a shimmery blush. This is a satin finish, this one. So I'm just using a Morphe brush and I'm going to mix the two of those. I can hear kids walking past. They must have sport day or something. Usually they go down to the pool down the corner. And I bring that right up to my temples. Don't ask me why I do this, it's just a technique that I've started doing. I was going to use their palette, the NUDE, in Nude Endo, which I think Innuendo. I could try going in with one of these with a brush first, and if I don't like it, then I'll go in with Flexitarian, which is one of my favourites. So I will go in with both this one and this one. They all, I mean, some of them look really bronzy, but they don't actually come out bronze. They come out very light. I'm just going to do a light dusting of this because I don't want a stripe of highlight on my face. So you can see how pointy, and my nose is one of those. I've never hated my nose, but it is a very pointy nose. So I don't like to go beyond here generally. I will blend it in sometimes with my blush. And you do, which I think most of you would probably know, hitting the high points where the sun would naturally hit. When you move your face like that, you can see where the sun, where the light's going to bounce off. And I'm only doing it a little bit. Also keep in mind, I mean, some people really do like a good highlight, like as in bam in your face highlight. But I have texture here, I have pores, and I find that using too much accentuates the pores, and no one likes to have accentuated pores. Okay, that looks pretty natural, I think. Okay, we'll close that off. Okay, now I'm going to use the Dream Street Kathleen Lights and ColourPop palette. So I will start off with this colour being the lightest, but I like this palette because the majority of it, apart from 2 shades, is warm. So I'm just grabbing the biggest blending brush I have of ColourPop, not ColourPop, Morphe brush, and I'm just going to start off just slowly building up some colour there. Okay, I'm switching now to a different colour. I'm going to go to that more, it's still a warm colour, but it's kind of like one of those colours that's in between a cool tone and a warm tone. And I'm just going to add, with a smaller brush, a little bit more depth in here. And flick it out, because I don't want to keep it here because it's going to make my eyes look smaller than they already are. So once I've put the brush into the pan, I pop it on the skin where I want the most amount of colour, and then blend the rest slowly out or in. You know, most of the time, I mean, sometimes I have specific looks in mind when I'm doing makeup, but other times I just think, oh, I'll just play around and wing it and see where it takes me. So just bringing that out lightly here, because it will end up being a smoky look. I don't want a sharp line. Now this is when the fun begins, because I'm using darker colours and brighter colours, so I'm going to be mixing these two, going back and forward between the two of those. I'll start with the terracotta-y sort of colour first. Place it on the outer corner. And bring it up in circular motions. Now I don't have a ColourPop black mascara, so I'm going to use a red one, but I don't think it's very pigmented, so if that doesn't turn out, then I will just go over it with another brand in black. I just want this to be more like a blown out kind of look. I'm going to get a different brush, more of a packing brush, this little Morphe brush, and get both those colours, terracotta and the pink. And add that to the outer portion of my lid. I just want to brighten it up a little bit. And remember, a lot of the time when you're working through your eyeshadows, like your eyeshadow look, it can go through a stage of looking really crappy before it starts to look better. So I'm actually going to take that pinky colour a little bit further on the lid because I am going to not cut a crease, but I am going to add some concealer because I'm getting a lot of fall down here. I am going to put a bit of concealer on the lid so I can use a shimmer. I'll have to fix that later. So it's looking very bright. Okay, now I'm going to go into the dark brown here, and I'm going to use that on a smaller Morphe brush and just go on the outer corner here. In fact, I'm going to get that little packing brush again and go in with that. I'll just dust off some of that pink that was already on there. That's better. My hand here. And I don't want a full defined cut crease. I don't think yet. Let's see. Just see what this does. If I wanted to be very precise, I would get a brush and apply it with a brush, but they're a very unusual texture, these highlights, and some of the shadows that have the same sort of formula. See, that looks really like ridiculous on here because it looks so bright. So I probably will go over it. I'm just blending that in with that coral sort of colour. And I will go over it with one of the other shimmers, probably this one and that one mixed together, just with my finger, just to darken that up just slightly. I'll start on the center part of my eyelid. Okay, the other eye is done. The lashes are done. I ended up putting on the black mascara because the red, there was really no point. So I'll probably use that red mascara in some other funky look. Like I said, adding it to my brows or doing something like that. So I will get use out of it. But anyway, I'm just going to do a nude sort of lip with the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in BFF2, so I'll pop that on. I've got my Milk Moustache of highlighter. And I always fill my lips in totally with these lippy pencils because I prefer, if I want a matte lip, I prefer to use these pencils than the ColourPop liquid lips in the matte, because the formula feels ordinary on my lips. It feels a bit crusty and dry, and I don't know, it comes off here and then it starts to look terrible. But these are awesome because they really do stay on for hours. Like, I can wear a matte lip with just this pencil, like any one of them, the pencils, and they fully stay on for 3 or more hours without touching up. So I'll fill my lips in. Obviously, if I put a gloss over the top, which is what I'm going to do, it won't stay on as long. Okay, so I've popped that there, and I'm just going to put the brown sugar lip gloss over the top. It smells absolutely beautiful, this. It smells like salted caramel or something really sweet. Yum. Smells beautiful. Okay, so there's that look done. Smoky, warm-ish. It started to go a little more cool toned when I added the brown. So yes, I've got plenty of other like single ColourPop shadows in their pan in another palette, but I didn't want to go through because there's almost 100 shadows in this particular palette. They're not all ColourPop, and I didn't want to go through all of them trying to find my ColourPop shadows, so I thought I'd just stick to the Dream Street palette, be safe sticking to that. But yes, this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel and press the little notification bell. Leave comments, and yes, I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye guys.